Welcome everyone to the November 6, 2023 Grafton Board of Health meeting. As a preliminary matter, this is Karen Gwiazdowski-Govin, Chair of the Board of Health. Permit me to confirm that all members and persons anticipated on the agenda are present and can hear me. Members, as always, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Jennifer Maynard.
Jen Maynard present.
Dan Finn's not online yet. Austin Magnet.
Austin Magnet present.
And Bill Muller.
Bill Muller here.
All right, and then staff and anticipated speakers on the agenda. When I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. I don't see Nancy on yet. Then let's see, we have Beth Coltrera.
I'm here.
All right, then Karina Scott.
I'm here.
Ian Wong.
Yep, here.
And Devin Thornton.
Right here.
And Gina De Pergola Tadeo, and I will get that right at some point. I apologize.
Present.
I'm very sensitive when it comes to last names, obviously, as one can imagine.
Don't worry about it.
All righty. Well, I'd like to open the meeting. Can I get a board member to make a motion to open the meeting?
This is Austin Magnet. I'll make a motion to open the meeting.
Is there a second?
This is Bill Muller. I second that.
All right, and then all in favor, board members, roll call vote as always.
Austin Magnet, aye.
Bill Muller, aye.
Jen Maynard, aye.
Karen Gwiazdowski-Govin, aye. All right, good evening once again. The open meeting of the Grafton Board of Health is being conducted remotely, consistent with the Act extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. This act includes an extension now until March 31st, 2025 of the remote meeting provisions of former Governor Baker's March 12th, 2020 executive order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law. In order to mitigate the transmission of the COVID-19 virus, the Act extends the requirement of the open meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible physical location. Further, all members of public bodies are allowed to participate remotely. The order, which you can find posted to the town's website at www.grafton-mass.gov, allows public bodies to meet entirely remotely so long as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. There are no public hearings scheduled for this evening's meeting. For this meeting, the Grafton Board of Health is convening by video conference via Zoom as posted on the town's website, identifying how the public may join. Please note that the meeting is being recorded and that some attendees are participating by video conference. Accordingly, please be aware that other folks may be able to see you and that you take care not to screen share your computer because, as we all know by now, anything that you broadcast can be captured by the recording. Any supporting materials that have been provided to the members of the body are available on the town's website unless otherwise noted. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda unless I note otherwise. Just a couple quick ground rules for effective and clear conduct of our business and to ensure accurate meeting minutes. I'll introduce any speakers for any agenda topics. After any remarks have been made, I'll invite the board members to provide any comments, questions, or motions. As always, please identify yourself by your name when speaking. Further, remember to mute your phone or computer, whichever you're using when you're not speaking, to reduce background noise. And then remember to speak clearly and in a way that helps generate accurate meeting minutes. And then finally, any votes on any motions made during the meeting will be conducted by roll call vote. So with that, let me just make sure if anyone joined. Let me just see attendees. I'm guessing that's Nancy. It's probably her. There. All right. Sorry, just was double checking before we jumped into the actual agenda topics to see. Let's see. So first topic is Alliance update. I don't know who from the Alliance wants to kick it off, but whoever wants to kick it off, feel free.
I don't have any updates until we get to the Grafton opioids. But I guess maybe I do have an update. I lied. My name is Karina Scott, and I believe everyone from the board should have received a Alliance update, which is a monthly roundup of most important points of work that we've done in all the Alliance towns. There is a section on Grafton and some of the work that we're doing. And then there's also some communal things that anyone in the Alliance can participate, such as trainings. I believe in there is the racial equity training, the 101 offered by the Office of Local Regional Health to partake on the 11th of, no, November 11th, excuse me. So there is that. So if you have any questions on the updates, you can email me or I may answer here. But yeah, just wanted to give that as an update as well.
All right, any questions, board members, for Karina? All right, seeing none. Now, Devin, if you want to go next in terms of how life's been in inspection land, et cetera. Oh, you're on mute.
I apologize.
That's the negative part of saying, always remember to stay on mute.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Devon Thornton. I'm a health agent for the town. Since our last meeting, I guess I'll start with inspections. I've done 12 food inspections and 1 body art inspection in the town. One of the food inspections was due to a complaint about expired food items. Upon inspecting, I didn't find any expired food items on the shelf. And establishment was Village Dairy. This month, we've also had 2 heat complaints. One was at Job Corps. The issue was addressed because Job Corps, they switched the system over in October, as expected. Usually by September 15th, they switch over by October. So that all worked out. Another complaint was at 20 Main Street. It was due to the fact that the property was sold and the new owners, it was actually they were at fault. They didn't observe that a gas-on-gas heating stove had been replaced with a regular gas cooking stove. That particular stove that was removed was the only source of heat for that unit. So now the owner is doing their due diligence to provide heat access to those tenants and the rest of the tenants in the building. And this was as of today. All the other complaints were just nuisance complaints. They were all addressed, or I've sent enforcement letters out. Other than that, that's all I have to report. Thank you.
Thanks. Board members, any questions? Jen?
Hi. Just remind me from our last meeting, is Donut Star all up to code and closed out?
They're not closed down. Donut Star now is in the process of getting the contractors to start removing the 2 bay sinks and installing 3 bay sinks now. It's going to take a little bit of time, but the goal was at the end of October was to be able to meet with the owners, have them show me an estimate, show me that they've contracted a plumber, and then we would go from there. Because again, I'm not sure if the 2 bay sink was something that was kind of grandfathered in or something, but we just wanted to give them an opportunity to get it addressed because they were doing their due diligence to do whatever they needed to do to get everything up to code. I continue to stay in contact with them, and I visit frequently, and I'll continue to do so until we get the issue addressed.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions for him? Not seeing anything. All right, then I don't know if Amelia, I saw you jumped on. If you want to give an update, or Ian, or
I can just give a quick, the clinic update, that we had in October. So we had a pharmacist come, and on October 18th, she was able to complete between kids and parents 100 flu shots. Also at the middle school, she completed 47 COVID shots for 12 plus. On October 28th, she completed 12 shingles shots, which means there's a return date. I believe it's sometime in February. I'll get that information for you for next time. And she actually did one RSV shot as well. So we haven't had much on the outbreak cluster front. COVID, we've actually had less reported cases in October than in September. But of course, we know not all positive test results are being reported. That's it. It's really quiet on the communicable disease front. The arbovirus update ended about October 16th, where we were at moderate risk, and I think we're still there because every now and again there's a note popping up that they found a mosquito here and there. So
yeah, I don't think we had like a hard frost, hard freeze in most areas yet.
right. So they're still visiting with us.
Soon enough, they'll be gone. Unfortunately,
they'll
that
be
means we're
gone.
going to get snow and colder temperatures, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's coming. So that's it. It's pretty low key for this month.
Any questions for Amelia, board members? Nope. Okay, easy peasy. Ian, do you have anything, or if
No,
not, no pressure, just
No,
figure it out.
I'm good.
for us.
Amelia did a great job.
All right. There's nothing else, then I think we can jump down. Well, first, thank you to the Alliance staff for joining us, obviously, for this and for your continued efforts and keeping us updated and everything. We really appreciate it. We'll jump down to COVID-19 as the next topic. I know Amelia touched on it some already, but COVID's not gone, as we all know. We are hitting into the winter, so they keep talking potential triple-demic again with COVID, flu, and RSV, and then we can tack in, the human metapneumovirus that we talked about, and just all the common colds and everything. So all that being said, even if it's not COVID specifically, for the public's perspective, like, get whatever vaccines that you can, if you're eligible for RSV, get the RSV vaccine, your flu shot, COVID, the latest and greatest version of that's now been out for a while. Flu shots are readily available, RSV's available. Besides the clinics, places like CVS's and Walgreens, et cetera, have them. Easy to make appointments and everything. Just continue to be vigilant, especially like we've been saying for the past few years, with whether you yourself is immunocompromised or have another condition that puts you at higher risk for any of them, any of the various viruses, using precautions. We're going to come up against with the holidays between Thanksgiving and Christmas, et cetera, with bigger gatherings. So we all know probably plenty of people within our own little circles that are definitely, whether they be elderly, immunocompromised, have another condition. So just keeping that in mind when people are gathering and or out and about, because as we've all seen, the weather is no longer as beautiful as it has been, including the fact that it got dark at like 4:30. So, just continue to be vigilant, if nothing else, and get whatever vaccines that if you still haven't gotten them, that are available to you, because we're going to be obviously continuing to live with all of these for the long foreseeable future. So obviously we want the population to stay as healthy as possible. Anything else, board members? Amelia, anyone on COVID? And I kind of lumped in flu, RSV, et cetera, all into the same one rather than saying it at the tail end.
Can I just say, so next Monday at the YMCA, I have a pharmacist coming to do COVID and flu for insured people. She was supposed to come today to the YMCA, but it didn't work out. So all those people that were going to get vaccinated today are coming back Monday. And it's a smaller time frame and it's more manageable. And I'll also bring some COVID vaccine for people who are not insured. In case there's confusion over, she says, oh, that's not the right health insurance. I don't want anybody to go away, so I'll bring some vaccine as well. So at the YMCA, and if you need to let me know if you're coming and bringing someone, that's fine too.
Thank you for letting everyone know that. Appreciate it. All right, so next topic we had was flu and shingles clinic updates, which I think, Amelia, you already touched on. Nancy, was there anything else you wanted to bring up on that? I think it was pretty much just going through the numbers was why we added it on the agenda. If you're talking, Nancy, you're muted. At least you look muted on the screen. All right. All right. You can always jump back if she can get unmuted. Oh,
I'm here.
there you are. I'm like, I saw the little circle box light up around you.
No, there's nothing else on that. Amelia took care of everything. If we could just go back for 1 minute. When Devon was giving his inspections, I did send out a report for the past month that also included septic, cardiac, food, and all that. I don't know if you all got that.
Probably. I haven't had a chance to look at email. I've been in meetings until I logged on.
Okay, and then Karina, you mentioned something. I don't remember getting a report from you.
I'll send it out again. I know I think there was too many people in the email and then it might have bounced back to some, but I'll send it to you either after the call or tomorrow morning.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, next up, opioid settlement funds. All right, so I wasn't at last month's meeting because I was traveling, but I do know that there's a regional meeting. It sounds like that Uxbridge has been kind of, I don't want to call it spearheading, but seems to be the one organizing for the area to see if other towns want to kind of join together, band together to kind of approach this from a more regional approach. And I think that's November 30th. Correct me if I'm wrong on the date. And I know at least 1 or 2 of the board members are going to be going. So besides that, I guess, I don't know if Bill, Karina, who wants to chat about whether it be that, anything on the more like Grafton focused side of the world?
Well, maybe I can start by
right.
thanking Karina for pulling together the meeting last week. I do think it was a good starting off point. And we did have a number of interested parties, although unfortunately we didn't have anyone from the school system, which clearly is an important constituency when we're talking about these funds. I think the the ideal or the desired composition of this committee, it's really not a subcommittee of the Board of Health. It really is a committee that has representation from the Board of Health and the school board and other constituencies. One of the important contributors was the chief of police, and actually he articulated some things that I was not aware of in terms of resources that they've had, both in terms of people who can deal more in a social work sort of manner when the police are summoned, but also that they have the capability of using naloxone, and apparently have been doing that for some time. Fortunately, not very frequently, but I think Karina did a great job pulling it together, and hats off to her. I do think the meeting in Uxbridge would be an important forum just to get an idea of what other municipalities are doing. I do think that we need to understand what resources there are already. And the funds, even though they're significant, are relatively small. So it seems to me that perhaps augmenting something that's already established or something of that sort would probably be the most prudent way to best use them. But it was a good starting point, and thanks, Karina. There's
Okay.
Dan.
Dan, I see your hand up, your virtual hand.
Yes, first of all, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, good. It was quite a struggle getting on this evening, so I had my phone here juggling around. But yeah, the meeting was good. Karina pulled it together, so Ian was there and Jennifer, Mary Lauria from the town accounting department, and Chief Crapo, maybe a couple other people actually. And she put together a proposed mission statement and vision statement. And it might be good if we can get that around to the other members of the Board of Health, Karina, just to see if they have any input on some of the goals. And I think after the meeting on the 29th in Uxbridge, which I hope to go to as well, we're going to have a meeting of this community group, or on the first week in December. And I think then we can maybe figure out whether we want to formalize a committee. Was thinking about a name, if we do it specifically Grafton, maybe the Grafton Opioid Recovery Committee or Community or something like that would be good. But in any event, we can tweak all that stuff. So yeah, it was a good start for sure.
Karina?
Sorry, if you see the light flickering, it's my 3-year-old playing with the Switch at the moment, so I apologize. Thank you for the compliments on the putting together the meeting. It was my pleasure, and I was really excited to get together. I really couldn't do it without Gina's help as well, who is interning for me, and really has been helping me set this all up. So kudos to her as well. I will be sending out a summary of the meeting to everyone on the board, which will include the mission and vision. I will also be attending the meeting on the 30th as well. And I think it'll be a great meeting to get an idea what other towns are doing. There's also a possibility that we could, if the committee wants to regionalize the approach. There are other towns in the alliance that have received the same funds. We could make this more regionally and expand the funds, kind of not invent the wheel, but fund things that are already in place. And we could simply ask their capacity to increase, or what is it they need to run more efficiently. So that's another idea. I think it was a great first meeting just to kind of everyone get acquainted. I did receive a couple more members from the school department that might be interested in joining, including some parents. And we will try again to reach out to anyone from the school. I do believe Jay Cummings had accepted the invitation and was interested. Something might have come up. But I'm hoping to also include him to the updates as well. And I think that's it.
Appreciate it. Ian, I think I saw you come off of mute right around the same time I first noticed Karina's hand go up first.
Yeah, yeah, thanks. Now, I was just gonna add, the team from the Alliance did well, but I also have to say I was very impressed with all the community members there. Everyone spoke up, and especially what's going on right now. So I think, Bill and Dan, it was being very modest about their input and moving this thing forward. So I think, I'm really looking forward to working with the community.
Everyone can say, we definitely appreciate everyone, jumping to be part of the committee and help out and figure out how we can kind of bring this to life. Like we said, whether it be a Grafton specific one or some type of regional, whatever the case is, because it's obviously critical and we have these funds and we definitely want to use them in the best manner possible for the area. So. But yeah, no, I think we've talked about this before. We don't want to totally recreate the wheel. But, yeah, it does sound at face value, it sounds like a lot of money. But then you start looking, I'm sure, into like what some of these programs or resources cost, and what sounds like a lot of money, if you talk about doing it for more than like 1 year, starts to not sound like so much money in the long run. Because as we know, everything has definitely gotten more expensive. And so, yeah, so best way to use it possible. So excited to hear more and see how this proceeds, and happy we have some traction on it. So. All right, well, appreciate everyone who's been involved, and more to come on that. So. Very excited. All right. Next topic is, I should say, the fee schedule. So I think that was kind of Nancy, you and Beth had been looking at the fees, and I know you had provided a variety of towns around. And we were focusing primarily on farmers market, one-day events, and mobile units, at least for now. With looking at what we have for costs and setup versus what some of the other communities do. So who wants to take it?
Can you hear me, Karen?
Yep.
All right, so the farmer's market, that's what's the word I'm looking for, it runs from June to October, and we charge $25. But if we have a mobile unit, okay, that's licensed in Grafton, the mobile units are $100 for the year. But if they attend the farmer's market, they're only giving us $25, and then we find out, well, they're still in the area doing other events. Now we come to the one-day events. We are the lowest fee in the 6 surrounding towns that I gave you the fees on. We charge $10 for one-day event. I guess what we're trying to do is figure out how to license people at the farmers market and the ones who also attend other events in town but are using the farmers market fee as opposed to the $100 fee. Then we have once a month, we have the markets off season at the library or the municipal center. Beth, what do you think?
Yep, you're on mute, Beth.
I think the second one's like the pop-ups, the last one Nancy was talking about, those should also be charged as a separate fee, not under the blanket of a farmer's market. We're just trying to make our rates like at least compatible to the other towns.
Yeah, so the one-offs, like the off-season pop-ups that happen once a month, either municipal center or say the library, those are outside of the farmer's market June to October season.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah. Jen, I see your,
I'm confused about if they're a mobile unit and they should be paying 100, but they're getting away with paying 25 and doing other things. Can you talk to us a little bit? Like, shouldn't they pay the 100 and maybe the 25 is part of the 100, or how's that happening?
Go ahead, Nancy.
We don't know. We don't know this unless someone tells us.
Okay.
Because, you know what I'm trying to say?
Hmm.
yeah, so you probably, I'm just thinking about it without naming names, because I don't know everyone that goes to the farmer's market or is doing mobile unit stuff around, but
Mhm.
if mobile unit X, there would be very generic about it, mobile unit X does $100 mobile unit permit,
Yeah.
that matches their mobile unit status,
Mhm.
they have the right to be a mobile unit across this community throughout the year, plain and simple. If mobile unit X goes down the farmer's market route and pays the 25, they're good for June to October. In my opinion, outside of that, they either would need to be additional one-dayers if they say join these pop-ups off-season, or if they're doing a bunch of things, even, and by a bunch doesn't have to be just these pop-ups, but if they're doing anything else outside of the farmer's market, then technically they should be a mobile unit at 100.
Right.
Mhm.
That's
Or the $25 farmer's market, 10, 10, 10, 10, in which case then
Right.
you probably just,
Whichever
they're not
is
paying $100.
yeah. And is the 25 part, if let's say that person were, or that mobile unit was doing it correctly and registered as a mobile unit for 100, does that include to go to the farmer's market, or do they have to do that on top of it?
That would include farmer's market, because we do have a couple of residential kitchens that we have licensed here in Grafton, and they do show up at the farmer's market, and we don't permit them separately,
Got it.
the market. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, which I would envision if it was mobile unit X, who's like not a residential kitchen, but an actual mobile unit that does something in the community, and they happen to go to the farmer's market once, twice, every single week, whatever, but they have their $100 permit already for a mobile unit, then I don't think they should get a separate charge for happening to go to the farmer's market during season,
Right.
or pay a random one-day event, because
Right.
they already technically got permitted as a mobile unit.
They just shouldn't be popping up at other units or other events with just a $25 farmer's market permit.
Yeah.
Right.
But we need to know where they're going.
Mhm.
Yeah,
If they are going like to say the Harvest Fest and they've already paid their $100, they need to at least file like a non-fee application, one-day application, so we at least can keep track of what they're doing in the town.
Do people get that information when they get a permit?
Well, here's another thing. If it's the farmer's market, the farmer's market does not know how we how we operate, how we send out the paperwork. So we would like to, quote unquote, take over the farmer's market portion of the food only. Now, the person that we were dealing with is no longer there. Beth, who's that person who's there now? Do you know? I don't remember.
Oh my God, I don't remember her name.
I don't either. Jessica is somebody like that. But I
They'll
have
probably
sent 2
change again.
emails. Yeah, probably. I did send 2 emails this past summer. I said, please don't add anybody on a Tuesday afternoon for a Wednesday market because we can't process the food permit in one day. And they can't expect us to do that, but they're still doing it, which is why I would like to take over the food portion. I don't know how anybody else feels about that.
When you say take over, what
Right,
do you
I
mean
don't
take
know.
over? I just don't want this to turn into like during the,
Right.
during the farmer's market season, all of a sudden you and Beth are like playing the coordination game and losing half your time coordinating who, what, where, when, and why a random food vendor, because it may not be a truck, a random food vendor is like coming out of the woodwork and playing the coordination game and getting all sorts of scheduling when I understand wanting some more control, obviously from a permitting perspective, but I don't want to necessarily have both of you turn into like the coordinators and almost owners of the whole food side of the farmer's market necessarily.
So I believe the vendors contact the farmer's market and then they give the okay and they send out one of our applications. But our applications are always changing. So I would like them, when it's food only, to either give us the list and we will send it out. That way we will know who has a food permit and who doesn't.
At least for the
That's
farmers
the only thing
market.
yes, just the farmers market. That's what I'm trying to do. Beth, you want to back me up on that?
Oh, yeah, that one for sure. The 1-day permit, I think we were only just trying to raise the fee at least to
Yeah,
in
we haven't even gotten
between what the
there
other
yet.
towns were. But that's another.
Yeah.
But the farmer's market, I agree, we should have some form of control over the application.
So they're not
Right.
issuing it, you guys are issuing it, but you're waiting for the applications to come from them. And when you get the application, it's whatever application they decided to send and you're trying to close the gap, basically.
Potentially at like, the 11th hour.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah, the guy that
Because
just left was on top of it. He gave us lists and everything, but when he left, all of a sudden, all these different vendors kind of like scooted their way in.
And they
Yeah.
don't just need to fill out the application. We need ServSafe, Allergen, copy of their latest inspection report, copy of the license from the town they're licensed in. Where it could be Northborough or, a menu. There's more than just filling out the application.
Oh,
We
yeah,
need all
yeah.
those attachments.
Austin, I see your
No,
hand
that's
also.
I'm sorry.
So when the farmer's market sends people to you to get the permits or to us to get the permits, does anybody actually check that they get the permits at all? Like does the farmer's market go around or anybody from the Board of Health go out to these markets and say, you're a food vendor, do you have a permit? Or are
It
people
was
sending
Mike
without
and now it
permits,
will
or
be
what do you
Devon. Yeah,
Question.
we do.
We go to the farmer's markets and check.
Mhm.
Does the farmer's market permit say that it's only for the farmer's market?
Yeah, it does, doesn't it, Nancy?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
So it says on the permit that it's for the farmer's market only.
Well, some do, and some say, and any pop-ups.
Right, because they might have
So,
the mobile.
right, it was very, this year was just very confusing. That's why we'd like
Mm.
to, we need to get everything same.
So if they're a mobile food unit, why don't they just purchase a mobile food unit regardless of if they're going to the farmers markets or not?
It's $100 versus $25.
But if
Mm,
they're a mobile unit, how can they go to the farmer's market without the mobile unit permit? Shouldn't that mobile unit permit, if they're a mobile unit, trump the fact that they're just going to farmers markets anyway,
Should.
because they are a mobile unit? So once you go out and inspect them with their farmer's market permit, say, hey, you're a mobile unit, you need the mobile unit permit.
Well, or when the application comes in, and I think we can, Nancy, to your point, talk about if you guys really want to, at least while you work through, I don't know, maybe getting better processes with this new person. Maybe when the application comes in, if it's a mobile unit and they're applying for a farmer's market, do we sometimes say to them, we think you need to do a mobile unit?
Yeah, exactly.
I think
Yes.
we're gonna have to.
Yeah.
do mobile units straight across the board?
If they're a mobile unit, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if they're a mobile unit, I think you can say, we have, we don't really have a way of checking if you're gonna go to the farmer's market as a mobile unit. It also gives you access to do all these things, gives you an opportunity to kind of educate them. You're not obligated to approve an application as it comes through if it doesn't necessarily meet.
Mhm.
You just
Or
might have to
standards.
ask everybody if they're a mobile unit as they're applying. And if they
Right.
say yes, then say, here's the mobile unit permit.
Yep, here's the rate, and here's the
Yeah,
mobile
here's the
unit
new rate.
permit.
Yeah, because
But
I
we're
can,
still cheaper than other towns.
I can envision like whoever, unless the person kind of running, coordinating the farmer's market knows enough about our world, and what a mobile unit is versus a residential kitchen versus et cetera,
Sure.
et cetera.
Yeah.
I can envision they're just, whatever individual it is like, okay, you're coming to the farmer's market. Here's the farmer's market permit that you need to fill out. Not, here's the farmer's market permit. Are you a mobile unit? Whoever's coordinating this or whatever one day random event, it's not gonna get into that minutia, I'm sure.
Right, exactly.
Does the farmer's market give out their
Right.
own permits and they collect their fees for themselves? Or is that a board of
Yes,
health?
They have a separate, no, they have a separate fee from the farmer's market, and then we have our own for food vendors only.
For farmers markets?
Yeah.
So when the farmers, every food vendor that the farmers market take in, do they send them to us or do they give them, they can just give them their own farmers market permit? Or do they have to also get a board of health farmers market permit?
If it's food, they also need a Board of Health food permit, yes.
Okay, so every food vendor is coming to us either way. So when they do, then you just find out if they're a mobile unit or not.
Right, so then if they're applying in June, they're gonna pay the $100 for a half a year, and they missed out on the first 6 months of the year.
Well, they'll know better for next year.
Okay,
I mean, I don't know if we want to prorate it at but again, that gets complicated.
I was just gonna say, like, what do we do with a regular, like thinking regular restaurant or another type of entity that
That's right.
wants to open and they decide they're gonna open in October and the year starts again in January? Do we prorate those?
No, that's true.
No.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Just playing, because otherwise then we're gonna have to go down that game of
Yeah.
prorating
No, that's true.
everything.
That's true.
It's already confusing
we've only
enough.
got one
Yeah,
mobile
and
unit.
I mean, it's a small amount if somebody's got a mobile unit, $75, to have the other 6 months and wherever they want. Essentially, that's what you're talking about, is they're paying 25 versus 75. Like, that's not that much to be able to, go throughout the town and do those kinds of things. And I don't know, I feel like if Nancy and Beth feel like they need a little bit more control of this process right now, if they have the capacity to take that on. Maybe it goes back to the direction it was before, but it sounds like, there's some appetite to take on to control the paper flow a little bit better than what's happening right now.
Right, and control the last minute people that come in.
Yeah.
So what about the 1-day permit fees? As you can see, some of the surrounding towns charge 75, 70, 50, 25, and we are at 10.
Do they have farmers market
is.
too?
If it's a 1-day event, some people just go once to see if they're going to like it. And so they just say, can I just have a 1-day permit?
Yeah,
Sure.
that makes sense. I mean, if that was me, I wouldn't necessarily, if I'm just kind of like dipping my toe in the water, I don't know if I'd want to go full out. If I can do a 1-day, at least to start, to try it.
Right.
Do you and Beth have a recommendation as to what fee you'd like to adopt?
Beth, you go first.
Oh, Nancy, I'm gonna go for the highest amount, so.
I know, yeah.
So something in the middle of everybody.
Right, so we've got Shrewsbury's at 75.
I think Northbridge is
these are like-
25.
I was just looking at the Alliance towns.
Okay.
West Boylston, what were they? They were, they're 50.
50, yes.
These are for
Okay.
1-day events?
Yep.
What are their,
Yeah.
I don't have them up right now. I'm trying to flip back over there, but my screen is partially frozen on that. On the PDF side of the world. What are their annuals? Because like 75, we're at like 100. Like just putting it into perspective, I've no issue with increasing necessarily, just want to make sure that we're being mindful of like what our other structure is, at least at this moment in time. Doesn't mean we can't sit there and revisit like our other food permits down the line for
Yeah.
pricing, just we're talking 1
It's
day
just that
versus.
we're sending out renewals this week and we want to just get the
Sure.
pricing, right? So for Shrewsbury,
Yeah.
food service, less than 75 seats is 400. More than 75 seats is 500.
Okay.
Their mobile
Why?
food, their mobile food is 250.
And West Boylston is 200 for their mobile food.
See, I'm trying to see if there's like a 1-day permit.
Devon, do they have a farmer's market out in West Boylston?
The only, I guess they do SNS. SNS has the deli, the butcher shop, and they also have a farmer's market that's open daily. I've never seen them do any events there though.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a farm stand, more of a farm stand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have, their mobile food is 200. Temporary food, 1 to 14 days is 50.
Mhm.
Is that $50 a day? Says actual dates
It's $50 per
permit.
event. Yes.
Got it. Okay. We're quite generous with our farmers market. I would say $25 is a nice fee for.
And their mobile food permit fee is $200 a year for West Boylston.
Maybe our low fees encourages more people at our farmers markets.
Maybe.
Well, our farmer's market's the same as Shrewsbury, $25,
Okay. And their 1-day is
75.
75.
But their
Okay.
mobile food is 200, 250.
250. Yeah.
So we're still low on everything else.
So it seems kind of customary for a 1-day permit to be more than like the farmer's market and somewhere in the middle of the mobile. Does that sound fair?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I saw you jumped off mute.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, in my opinion, the $10 one is just a little too low. And the minimum should be 25. And maybe the food permit, I mean, the mobile permit should be 150 to get it up in line. And I don't think anybody's gonna complain, because if you get any flack, that you can just say, well, the other towns are 200 and 250, but anyway, that's just my opinion. To move them up a little bit, get rid of the $10 thing.
I agree with the $10. Should be at least 20, 25 is fine.
25, right?
But at least make it equal to the farmer's market for now.
Right. For 2024.
Yeah, there you go. I think, we can creep it up to, frankly, I think 50 is appropriate to align with other, if we don't want to jump it up right away to that where it's 10.
Yeah.
I would say let's do 25 and then maybe next year we bump
I
it.
think so. Yeah, you don't want to scare people away either,
Sure.
or thinking that we're gouging.
Right.
So if you want to do
we
one day
need a motion.
or
I would
all,
say, yeah, we would need to motion, we would need motion, whatever we're gonna change and vote on, we would need a motion for each, a second for each, and then a vote. So if it's just mobile or just one day or just
Mhm.
farmer's market or all three or whatever.
I don't think we should increase the mobile to be more than the restaurant permit. And they're both at 100 right now, right?
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
Can we visit those in the future?
Yeah.
Because I mean, the other towns are higher than we are on their restaurants.
well, the only thing we could do is on the application, it has food service, retail, mobile, farmer's market. We can just add something, Beth, under the farmer's market, that this does not include mobile units.
Mhm.
That's true, yeah.
How's that?
Yeah, to put clarification in there also.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah, clarification. Okay,
Yeah, that sounds good.
all right.
So we just want to, well, I guess, so we just want to bump up the single day at this point?
Yeah, if you're keeping farmer's market at 25, and then if there are additional markets per month, what will be the 1-day fee?
Mhm.
What's an example of a market that's not at the farmer's market that they would have to get a 1-day fee for?
The PTO
well-
that just happened. That event that the PTO just put on.
Oh, Oktoberfest?
Yep,
Yes,
And then the Harvest Fest, you said they can do it under, is that separate than the farmer's market?
that's separate too, yeah.
And then
They're
a
supposed to be
Wonderful.
separate.
Yeah, and then if they're doing like November, December, January, February, March, April, May, once a month, pop-up markets indoors somewhere, those aren't farmers market season.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
And those would now be $25 each.
Yeah.
Because not everyone goes to the single pop-up farmers markets either.
And I guess to Dan's point, do we think that we should consider if a seated restaurant is $100 and a mobile unit is, or a mobile restaurant is $100, should we look to raise the seated restaurant to 150? I'm just throwing it out there for consideration. I know we don't have a ton of restaurants, but
Yeah, because Shrewsbury's goes all the way from 0 seating at 100 to 200 plus seating at
mhm.
750.
So,
So, I mean, they're way more extensive than we are anyways.
that's high.
Actually, that was Millbury, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that's Millbury. Yeah,
That's Millbury.
Shrewsbury's-
I'm sorry. I was looking at the wrong one.
Shrewsbury's up there at 500. so.
Yeah, Shrewsbury is still up there.
Yeah, and their farmer's market is 25.
And their mobile food is $2.50.
Yeah. I agree with Austin though, that, and Dan, that it seems unfair to up the mobile units and not do anything with the freestanding restaurant if they have the same exact rate right now.
Yeah.
But it's kind of too late to raise that rate if we're gonna send out the applications this week. That would have to come in for FY 25.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Okay.
These don't have to be FY, they could be yearly. Calendar
Because our
year.
permits go Jan to December.
Right.
Okay.
That's why we don't do prorating and things. We keep it simple with the calendar year, right,
Yeah.
Karen? Smart.
It's already tricky
Okay, so
enough as it
farmers-
is.
True.
Farmers market, you want to keep at 25.
Yeah.
Mobile units. The farmers market. Mobile units for one-day events. And mobile units who want to be licensed yearly. Like, we've got one mobile unit. He is licensed for the whole year. He can go anywhere he wants.
And he still only pays $100.
Yeah.
Doesn't a
Restaurant
restaurant,
operator.
like
Yeah.
a regular restaurant,
Yeah. I mean,
so.
that's why I said, I don't know. I don't know if it's fair to up them and not also up the restaurant, or either do both or do one and then do the next one the next time around. That's just my thought. I mean, others might feel differently.
All right, so we just need farmers market, mobile, and one day.
But if we're
What
not,
do you want to do?
if we're not changing something, like if
We
we,
need a motion.
if we're
Mhm.
not gonna change the farmer's market fee and we're not gonna change the mobile unit fee, and I'm not saying this is the case, but I'm just playing it out in terms of like, I don't want excess motions for nothing. If we're not
Right.
changing something, then we don't need a motion, a second, and a vote. We only need the motion, second, and a vote if we're gonna change something.
Right. Let's do the easy one day.
I'll make a motion to increase the one-day fee from $10 to $25.
I'll second that motion.
Right, roll call vote.
Jen Maynard, aye.
Dan Fan, aye.
Bill Muller, aye.
Austin Magnan, aye.
Aaron Gwizdowski Govan, aye. So motion passes.
Okay.
Do we have to update our applications?
Yeah, they have to do all that stuff, right?
Mhm.
They seem willing and able, though. Something tells me.
Okay, mobile units. We will change the wording on the application. That mobile units are not considered under the flea market. They're considered separately.
They're considered under the mobile unit.
Yeah,
Yeah, they don't get the $25 flea market discount anymore.
Oh, gotcha.
Unless they want to just bring a table and set up on their table or whatever, they can do that for $25.
So
Austin's gonna make sure.
They're
Yvonne's
gonna
gonna be-
hit it twice.
all right, so do we need a motion to change the wording on the application, Karen? I don't know.
I don't think so.
Probably not.
Just
It's
a
a
clarification.
clarification. It's not, we're not changing anything. It's,
They should have been doing it all
Yeah.
along. They found a loophole.
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay,
we're not changing the cost. We're not changing the requirements. We're not changing like the permitting process or anything. It's clarifying what should have already been in the way they were doing it or not doing it.
Okay.
Nancy, do you know when the last time
Um,
these rates were looked at?
I think it was 2017. Oh, I don't have Grafton's here. I think I sent you Grafton's. Why
Yep.
don't I have it?
Oh, let me check, actually. Make it easy on you.
Yeah. And I think like at some point in
Wait.
time,
Yeah.
during all of the COVID height of things, it came up at one point in a meeting, but it was like with all of the financial hardships and like restaurants not being open, et cetera, the last thing we wanted to do was revisit it at that time,
Sure, sure.
given like, you know, no
Yeah.
one was open.
No, that makes sense.
So,
So it says effective January 1st, 2018, so it must have been sometimes 2017. It's a pretty simple fee schedule, though. The others are like several pages long. Ours is like one simple page. Which is nice.
Now, would you like to invite the new person from the farmer's market to a board meeting, letting them know that we would like to handle the food end of the applications, just the food?
I mean, my personal opinion is maybe you and Beth try reaching out first, see how that
Okay.
goes. And then if you look like you're getting nowhere or there's pushback, etc.,
Mhm.
then we can have said person at an upcoming meeting.
Okay, good.
Sounds good.
I think that's it on fees, right, Beth?
I didn't hear that. Well,
We all set on fees now then? For now? just so we
yeah,
can get
I
the-
just think that in the future, we should revisit the rest of them at a later date.
Yeah,
Bam.
I just want to get the,
Yeah, I was just gonna suggest that sometime either in the first or second quarter of next year, we should get a spreadsheet of all the towns and dig it in a little deeper when we have a little more time to make them effective for 2025 and try to get in the middle of the pack there with our fees.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Okay.
Agreed. Right, thank you. All right, state well regulations. All right,
you all have those, I sent them to you.
I know there was some discussion at the last meeting that I wasn't at. The Traveling.
Yeah. If you look at the October 23 minutes. Austin, you were gonna send out an email to local water departments about the PFAS testing. That's a big thing right here. I contacted the water districts in Grafton. They're below the limits. If they were above, they would contact DEP. A vote is needed by the board if you want to enact it. If so, a public hearing is needed.
I must have graciously deferred that to you, Karen.
I don't know.
Well,
if
there's
everyone got
nothing-
the October-
Oh, sorry, Nancy.
No, that's okay. I was just making sure everyone got all the minutes. Those 5 cents.
So yeah, I mean, there's, like we talked about, I think when the last meeting I was at, so the September one, when Phil was here, no one's sitting here going, you must do this as part of your regs, you must do this tomorrow as part of your regs. It's up to us as to whether we want to go down this path or not. And then if we do so choose at some point to do this, then we need a hearing, a public hearing, et cetera.
Mhm. You want to table it for the spring?
It's all about whether we require private wells to test for PFAS when the house is sold or whatever, right?
Yeah, and then if I remember correctly from the September meeting, if it tested above said limit, then there needs to be some type of
Treatment system
treatment system put in place.
and mandating the treatment system, is that something that the DEP does because their limits are too high? Or would that be something that the town of Grafton would be mandating?
I think it's part of the, if we were to enact this in full, it would be something that we would end up having to
Right.
mandate. If we were to
Yes.
put the whole thing in from the model regs. And then like, which in my brain goes, how much do these systems cost? How
Right.
easy are they for a homeowner? Whether they're selling the house or just test and find they have high levels, you know, are we talking something that's comparable to putting a radon remediation system in? Are we talking something that like, this is newer in the world of concerns, relatively speaking, compared to something like a radon? You know, how many places around even do these types of systems? What options are they? Is it gonna cost like 50,000, not having any clue, but just throwing out a hefty number for someone to add this on when they test to
Yeah.
the sales, you know, escrow, et cetera, et cetera. And it could be nothing remotely like that amount, but I have no clue yet, so.
Totally. Even the maintenance of it, the upkeep. And it's such a new problem that the technology, I'm sure, is going to be better in 5 years from now. So mandating something now would be maybe a little
Yeah.
too soon.
Bill?
Yeah, as I said on a previous occasion, I'm not sure that we want the requirements for a private well to be more rigorous than the requirements are for a public water system.
Mhm.
I mean, I do think that this is a moving target to some degree, but I'm not sure that we want to be out in front of what's going to be required in public water systems.
So do we want to table it to the spring at least?
Yeah.
Maybe, you know, in all of our spare time, do some more research into what systems even exist. But yeah, I mean, PFAS, it sounds like, you know, every time you turn around, besides PFOA and PFOS, there's like, depending on who you listen to, there's like potentially 9,000 plus chemicals that technically make up the world of PFAS.
Wow.
Mhm.
So I'd have to go back and look at the regs, the model regs, to say, you know, is it specific to say PFOA and PFOS, which still there's multiples that are in there, but it's not 9,000. Different chemicals, like, you know, it is potentially a moving target. And like you're saying, you know, technology where it is new could, a year from now, 2 years from now, we might be at 15,000 chemicals, but technology that is better. I don't know.
Mm.
Dan?
I agree. I think we should wait until we get more information and answers to those questions. So we should push it off into 2024 after the holidays at the very least, the very earliest, I should say, in my opinion.
All right. Sounds good. We don't need a motion or anything for that. So. All righty. Proposed bylaw updates. I'm going to vote there are no new ones since we had town meeting and they discussed all the ones that that subcommittee or committee was looking at. So I haven't seen or heard anything else come through past that. So
That's correct. Yeah.
But we'll leave it on here at least for now. We can always
Yeah.
revisit in the new year if we still hear nothing by December. We can always take it off a topic, the agenda, and if they decide to look at different bylaws or regs or something, we can always put it back on. But it sounds like the work of that group is at least done for now, minus maybe like actually, you know, finalizing the updates in actual document form. But nothing for us to review at this point. All right, so that means we're at minutes. All right, looks like we had 5 sets. So like we've done in the past, we need for each set, motion, second, and a roll call vote to accept for each of them. So the first one we have is September 11th, 2023.
This is Austin Magnet. I'll make a motion to accept the meeting minutes from September 11th, 2023.
This is Dan Finn. I'll second that motion.
All right, roll call vote.
Austin Magnet, aye.
Dan Finn, aye.
Bill Muller, aye.
Jen Maynard, aye.
Karen Gwiazdowski, Govin, aye. All right, October 2nd, 2023.
That was our last meeting, right?
Yep.
Yes.
This is Austin Magnet. I'll make a motion to accept the October 2nd, 2023 meeting minutes.
This is Dan Finn. I'll second that motion.
Roll call vote.
Austin Magnet, aye.
Dan Finn, aye.
Bill Muller, aye.
Jen Maynard, aye.
Karen Gwiazdowski, Govin, aye. October 25th, 2021.
Yeah, it was present there. So this is Austin Magnet.
Mhm.
I will make a motion to accept the October 25th, 2021 meeting minutes.
This is Dan Finn. I'll second that motion.
Roll call vote.
Austin Magnet, aye.
Dan Finn, aye.
Bill Muller, aye.
Jen Maynard, aye.
Karen Gwiazdowski, Govin, aye. November 8th, 2021.
This is Austin Magnet. I will make a motion to accept the November 8th, 2021 meeting minutes.
This is Dan Finn. I'll second that motion.
Roll call vote.
Austin Magnet, aye.
Dan Finn, aye.
Bill Muller, aye.
Karen Gwiazdowski, Govin, aye. All right, and then December
Did
6th.
Did Jen abstain?
No, do you need me to abstain?
No, you were just on mute, I think.
No.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And then December 6th, 2021.
This is Austin Magnet. I will make a motion to accept the December 6th, 2021 meeting minutes.
This is Dan Finn. I'll second that motion.
Roll call vote.
Austin Magnet, aye.
Dan Finn, aye.
Bill Muller, aye.
Jen Maynard, aye.
Karen Gwiazdowski, Govin, aye. All right, thank you, everyone. Mail and correspondence. I don't think there was anything beyond what we already discussed in this meeting. Old new business, we already touched on flu vaccines, RSV vaccines, COVID vaccines being available widely. And then we also touched on the fact that we have not had any type of hard frost yet. So there's still potential for ticks and mosquitoes out there, and that we were last at a moderate level on the mosquito side of the world. We already touched on donut stars. I had that already on old business. I didn't have anything else or anything new.
Nope.
All right. So that leaves upcoming meetings. We have December 4th, which is planned for hybrid at this point, January 8th, 2024, remote only, February 5th, 2024, hybrid right now, March 4th, 2024, hybrid right now, and April 8th, 2024, remote only. All right, that's all we had. Oh, Jen.
Before everybody jumps off. One quick thing, I have access to somebody that's looking to offload a fairly large amount of KN95 surgical masks, coveralls, face shields, and some goggles. So Alliance members, Board of Health members, if you have anybody that's looking, everything is packaged. Some of the bigger boxes that it's in might not be fully intact. So if there's somebody looking for those things, I'm just trying to help an organization I do some work with make those donations around. Let me know.
Great.
Nice. All right. Is there a motion to close the meeting if there's nothing else?
This is Dan Finn. I'd like to make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
This is Austin Magnet. I will second that motion to adjourn the meeting.
All right, roll call vote, everyone.
Dan
Austin
Finn, I
Magnet.
think we
Big
got it
Austin
both in there.
Bill Muller, aye.
Jen Maynard, aye.
Karen Gwiazdowski, Govind, aye. Thank you, everyone.